Today we'll be looking at the Spider-Man movies.
Yes.
Great greetings, everybody. Jamie here. It's been a few months since our last great greetings, maybe 2, 1.
That's true.
And we're finally back.
Yes.
And today, what we're going to be talking about is, well, The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I'm going to adjust the camera just a little bit. Let's see. Is that better? That's a little better. There we go.
Yeah. So we recently...
There we go. There we go. Is that better?
Okay. Yes.
Is that any good?
Okay. So we recently watched The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which means we've seen all 5 of the Spider-Man movies.
Recently, as in, like, we just finished watching it finally.
Yeah.
We finally got around to seeing The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
So, yeah, this is Great Greetings, a little Nat J Media podcast.
So we'll give you just a brief review of the movie, and then we're going to rate the movies, basically.
Yeah. So, if you're looking at this on podcast, then, well, I guess the little camera thing you're talking about was just a waste of your time. You know, if you
Oh, yeah, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I told you about that earlier.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. So
we need to redo our set. We gotta get a better setup here. We're at a different angle here, and it's all right. There we go. Let's see.
It kind of works a little bit better than the other.
Think so? Okay.
Yeah. It kind of gives us a little bit more.
That's true.
Backspace. All right. So the movie, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, starts off with Peter's parents, and they're on this plane. And they shoot windows.
So are we going to review it or summarize it?
You summarize the movie first, then you review it.
Okay.
Basically, you're doing both at the same time. Then you give your overall opinion. That's how a review works.
Cool. Let's do it.
We've done this before. Okay.
Have we?
Yeah, so the scenes...
We've done this before?
The scene's quite, I don't know, tedious. Kind of goes a little bit longer than it should have.
With the movie?
No, the scene at the beginning with Peter's parents.
Yeah, they spend a long time redoing stuff they did in the first movie, showing what happened to Peter's parents, and
it goes on a little long.
Yeah, that whole
Then it cuts into Spider-Man swinging around. He's chasing this guy in a truck. It's a pretty cool scene. Spider-Man.
Yeah, they opened the action when they got to the action. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man's telling all these jokes.
Yeah.
I'll get into these jokes a little bit later. And so then he finally stops this guy in a truck. He'll have an appearance later.
Yeah, Paul Giamatti.
Mm-hmm.
Very good actor normally. Not probably right for this particular role, but.
I'm trying to think what's next. The movie has a lot of these little. I don't remember what was after that.
Okay, well, I'll do a quick summary.
Uh-huh.
All right, so the movie starts. You see you feel the flash.
I think I remember now what happens.
Okay, well, you do the summary then. Make it quick.
Well.
2-minute summary. I'll count down.
Well then I believe you got Harry Osborn and he's all where he's visiting his father and his father's dying and then he realizes he is dying. So for most of the movie and a little bit later, Peter and Gwen, Peter's girlfriend, kind of.
They're on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again.
Because
boring.
he promised.
Really boring.
Yeah, that part goes on for like 40.
Way too long.
40 to 50 minutes.
Feels like it's 90% of the movie.
It probably is.
Yeah.
You barely see Spider-Man in this whole movie. It's more like the Amazing Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's my complaint about all 5 of the Spider-Man movies.
Well, the first 3 still kind of did give you enough of Spider-Man 2 where you would enjoy it. So right now, Harry's dying, and then they realize that.
Was Harry even mentioned in the first movie? The first Amazing Spider-Man, was Harry even mentioned?
He was literally like he was in like this one scene where where Peter went to Oscorp.
It's like all of a sudden Peter and Harry are great friends from the old days, and it's like where'd that come from? But okay.
Okay, so then Harry realizes, it feels so weird to just say all these names, that his cure is, well, spider DNA. And he goes to Peter Parker, who, takes pictures of a Spider-Man. They don't even mention the Daily Bugle. Like, it never goes to the Daily Bugle.
Yeah, apparently in this Spider-Man universe, in this particular world,
nothing makes sense.
The Osborns have some sort of disease that gets passed on from father to son and father to son. And Norman Osborn, his father, thinks that the spider medicine the spider venom that they're working on, that him and Peter's father were working on, would be able to cure it.
Wait a second. I got a little nitpick and serious problem with that.
Yeah.
How did Harry get to live if every single time one of the fathers died, then the sons who become the fathers die? How do they survive long enough? I mean, Harry.
Well, that's another thing, yeah, because in the movie, Norman's, old.
He's like what, 97?
Probably not that old, but he's like, he's
50.
Probably 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
He's lived his life, well, part of it, and then.
Then how did Harry?
And Harry shows up. Harry's like 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
And apparently that's when the Osborn men that's when they start getting their symptoms. They're 20. And the movie kind of proceeds like Harry thinking he's going to die any day now, whereas his father lived with this disease for like 30 or 40 years after he got it. So I don't understand the whole thing about it was just rushed, like, well.
Yeah.
So that didn't make any sense, and the whole.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this, but Gwen, Peter, they all graduated.
And Stacy, so you got these 30-year-old actors who finally graduated high school. Another problem I had with the movie. Why can't they go ahead and just make a Spider-Man movie that shows Spider-Man as an adult? Not being a high school student, not being a college student.
I mean, in the first movie, like in the second and third movie, he was not in high school. He was literally doing his thing.
Yeah, but he was still really young. Why can't they just go ahead and do a 30 or 35-year-old Spider-Man? Just show a Spider-Man just fighting criminals for 2 hours. That's all I want to see. I don't want to see.
And fighting a villain.
I don't want to see.
A main villain. There'll be a main villain.
I don't want to see Aunt May. I don't want to see Uncle Mary. I don't want to see.
Uncle Mary.
I don't want to see.
Uncle Mary.
Gwen Stacy or MJ or Uncle this or Aunt that. I don't want to see any of those people. I just want to see Spider-Man fighting some villains.
And you want to see a villain, a main villain.
That's all I want to see. That's what I want.
And you want to see Venom going around eating people.
And I don't want Peter Parker conflicted about, well, should I be a superhero or not? Should I, just do it.
Yeah.
Just be one.
Okay, then there's this other guy. His name is Max.
Yeah.
He is the
Oscorp
Max, energy guy. I forgot what it was.
He's like an engineer. He's a genius apparently, and he has no social skills.
And then he falls. He gets electrocuted, falls into a bunch of
dies apparently.
Eels.
He gets electrocuted by electric eels.
And then he comes back to life. Apparently.
With no explanation.
And then he charges Times Square.
He becomes Electro Man or whatever.
He's horribly portrayed here. I mean, Electro's awesome. I mean, he shoots electricity out of his hand. No,
there's no motivation for him being there's just.
I mean, in this movie, Electro's
there's no character. The biggest problem in this movie is there's no character development at all.
We don't care about any of them.
Yeah.
We don't care about any characters at all in this movie. At all. No, none of them. None of them. Like, literally. So stupid. So then, Peter and Harry have a chat where, Harry wants to meet up with Spider-Man since Peter Parker takes pictures.
Because he thinks Spider-Man's blood can cure him.
I know. And then Spider-Man finally visits him 40 minutes later in the movie. After this other segment of Peter saying, Aunt May, I want to learn about my parents.
It's just don't even ask. It's just not.
Okay.
It's just.
Okay. So then, Spider-Man does not help him, and then he wants to get revenge. and Electro got arrested. Apparently,
Yeah, I don't understand how he got arrested.
I know he got like
He's
locked up.
he's in this super secret
And guess
Raven.
what? And then Harry lost Oscorp.
You know, there's
I
some
mean,
bad guys running Oscorp that
it's
kind
like
of.
in the first Spider-Man movie, it kind of made sense. You know, you actually kind of got to learn about these guys. Norman was failing. You know, you felt kind of bad for Norman when he
I'll say this about the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Wait, let's get into that after. And just
Okay.
we finish another plot point.
Okay.
And so it's like it's Harry Osborn with Electro. Oh yeah, there's this really bad scene with Electro that I kind of just skipped, but I'll go on to that when I do like the full review after the summary.
What, there's going to be a full review after the summary?
And basically there'll be like a little review when I talk about everything. The summary is just type movie and tell my
Okay.
little nitpicks. You know, that's how you really do a review.
And how long is this video going to be?
You're making the time go by quicker by asking me.
No.
Okay. So then they finally find the cure. Well, they get to the cure since they're torturing the guys at Oscorp who took it over. And
There's a secret room with spider venom.
yeah, and then right when Harry takes it, he falls down on the ground, mutates into a green goblin.
Yeah, he becomes the Green Goblin, and there just happens to be this Green Goblin suit just waiting for him out of nowhere, like.
You saw it. You saw it a little earlier in the movie where he's like doing this on his desk.
Yeah.
But I mean, literally, it happened to be at the exact same room at the exact same time Harry was out there. And then we cut back to Peter and Gwen, and they're just kind of talking, and then
talking and talking.
And then finally webs her, to a trunk. The thing with MJ is that at least she wouldn't just be there talking for 10 hours. I mean, she always at least was in something. At least she just wasn't there saying, are you sure about this? Are you sure about that? So then we finally get to the final fight. It is the most disappointing fight ever. It's not even a fight, literally. The fight with Electro
makes no sense at all. None. Even in a superhero science fiction kind of universe.
And the fight.
How Spider-Man and Gwen
literally just killed a guy who's made out of electricity.
It makes no sense to me.
Okay, and then we cut to Green Goblin who took Gwen.
Yeah. Green Goblin sees Gwen and Spider-Man together, and he figures out, oh, you must be Peter Parker, my good old friend. Now I'm gonna make you miserable by
killing a person.
by killing Gwen.
Who I haven't even met yet, really. They only meet like in this little elevator.
Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen this movie and you think you want to see it, consider everything from now on is a spoiler for the ending.
Yeah. All right. So then we have the fight with the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
It's even more disappointing. It's not even a fight.
Yeah, he comes out of nowhere. I mean, it's just like.
It's literally him just.
How does he even know how to do that?
I know.
I mean, it's like. How does he even know how to? I don't know.
And he just throws Gwen down a clock tower. Spider-Man saves her. Then they just have like a little.
And then she drops some more, and he saves her again.
Wait, we gotta talk about the little fight. Then they just have like a little kitty fight on a gear. Then Spider-Man kills him somehow.
No, he doesn't. He just knocks him out. He doesn't kill him because he's still alive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He knocks him out, and then he goes to save Gwen.
Yeah, Gwen falls, and if you've ever read the comic books, you know what happens to Gwen.
And she dies.
And she dies.
And they overreact too much. I didn't even feel a single tear pain. Nothing. Literally, it just was over too fast.
Yeah,
I mean, it was literally like when Tobey Maguire cried. You didn't know he was acting. He actually looked like he was crying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but MJ didn't die in those movies.
Yeah. But when you see Andrew Garfield cry, as Spider-Man, by the way. I can totally tell he's acting. And he's literally just shouting and probably sobbing.
Well, I mean, yeah, the scene where he's holding her and she's dead. I mean, he did all right. His reaction was normal for the situation, so that's fine. But it's like, who cares?
And then he just stands in a graveyard.
Yeah.
That has like 1 million graves in a row going down.
They keep flashing back to so apparently for 5 months he stops being Spider-Man and just visits Gwen's grave every day.
And then we finally learn about Peter's father again and again. We're learning so much about Peter's father. We probably already come to the conclusion that we probably already know exactly what happens to Peter's father.
Well, we do know because they killed him. You know, the flashback shows him being killed in that plane crash.
So that really was a really useless kind of part of the movie when Peter was learning about it. You know, at the beginning of the movie, he should have just done his all investigating, like 5 minutes, and then there's only like a 5-second talk.
Yeah.
I mean, 5-minute talk, and then it's just action and stuff. And guess what? Remember that guy who I was talking about who drove the truck?
Yeah, he's back.
And he's back. Rhino.
He's now Rhino in like a metal suit.
And an even more disappointing fight.
With machine guns and rockets and stuff.
Rhino does not carry weapons.
Because Rhino is an actual Rhino, right? He's kind of a Rhino man, right?
All he does is just punch and kick and charge. He doesn't have machine guns and go shooting at everyone. And this is the most disappointing fight in movie history. Most disappointing fight ever.
We don't see it end though, because that's how they go off.
Yeah, literally. Spider-Man just hits a shield or some sort of object, and then it's over. And the fight's over. Rhino would.
Well, yeah, they just.
Spider-Man does not stand a chance against Rhino.
And of course, this movie was trying to set up a continuing story where there's some.
Then right after that fight,
we
get a little chat with our friend Harry Osborn.
Oh, that was before the fight.
Oh, whatever. But there's a little chat, and it just really. Then it just ends.
Yeah, there's this mysterious figure with a hat and a cloak, and
it's
you don't see him. You know, he's
all right. So now let's go ahead and give all my little nitpick review of things.
Well, I think we've done pretty well so far.
Yeah, this movie is absolutely horrible.
Yeah, I never thought it would happen, but this movie has. Oh, okay.
We're not.
Why don't I just leave and you finish this?
Okay, but literally. Okay, now let me go back to a scene where Electro's beating up people in Times Square. The police literally just keep on shooting at him. He's not even a villain yet. Even Spider-Man just says, "Hey, it's my buddy Max. You know, don't shoot him."
Well, they didn't know he wasn't a villain though.
But even Spider-Man just goes on and say, "Hey, this is my buddy Max."
Well, Spider-Man has no authority to stop the police from shooting at someone. He's a vigilante.
And it's just really bad. Also, the music is horrible.
Music's terrible.
I mean, they pick really good tracks in some parts. Like, what's that called?
Well, they use the Blue Danube Waltz.
But they use it in the worst place.
When Electro's being tortured by some evil scientist.
Was that supposed to be a joke? I mean, it's funny when people do it for jokes. You know what I'm saying? But this is supposed to be a serious movie. More serious movie.
I think they were using it to show that they're using it because the scientist who was torturing Electro, trying to question him, was they were trying to use that music to show that the scientist is of a certain kind of stature or something. So the music kind of matches him, I guess. I don't know. And the music is terrible. This movie terrible.
I mean, the jokes. That's the best part about the movie. And probably one of the only good things are the jokes.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield does a lot of humor as Spider-Man, which is straight out of the comic book. So that's well done.
Yeah, that's the only good thing about the movie. It's literally there's the one-liners, the quotes, and the jokes are literally the only good things.
I actually like Andrew Garfield when he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, not when he's Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Now it's time to rank the movies.
Yep.
Number 5, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Do we both agree?
We both agree because
this is horrible.
There are 5 Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Not including the made-for-TV movie from.
Yeah. The
40 years ago or 30 years ago.
Yeah, these are the 5 movies that were probably previously made.
Yeah,
This is
I didn't think it would happen, but this movie has supplanted
Spider-Man 3
Spider-Man 3
as being the worst.
as being the worst Spider-Man movie.
This movie is just horrible.
Yeah,
it's horrible. It's probably my least favorite top 10 movies of all time. What a bad way to show off Spider-Man. The movie is boring.
Yeah, it is kind of.
There's no action scenes like anywhere. It's like only at the beginning and the end, and that's it. Really, we already know everything. Really.
Half the movie is Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy getting back together, then breaking up, getting back together, then breaking up.
It's Spider-Man 3.
Getting back together, then breaking up.
It's just a really boring movie. It's not good.
This movie wasn't made for superhero movie fans. This movie was made for general audiences. They tried to make it so that.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure general audiences would have been bored out of their mind.
Yeah, probably
that
so.
was torture. That's. I just say The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is probably even worse than Die Another Day. It's more torturous than that movie. So Die Another Day is at least enjoyable. You can at least get through it without being bored.
It's on the same list. I'll give it that. Yeah, it's on the same
list. But at least Die Another Day is more entertaining. It doesn't get you as bored. So this movie does. Number 4. Spider-Man 3.
Yes, Spider-Man 3. We both agree on that.
That's definitely the worst of the Raimi trilogy. But it definitely beats Spider-Man 2.
It could have been really good, but they just went a little. First of all, it was too long. That movie was like 15 hours long.
But it beats The Amazing Spider-Man 2 by like a mile.
I'll say this about the Raimi Spider-Man movies, those 3. The 2 most recent movies, The Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2, have made me re-evaluate the first 3 movies. Because those movies, they've never been my favorite superhero movies. Just because I don't like the whole Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, Aunt May, Uncle Ben. I don't care about any of that. I want to see Spider-Man on the screen for 99% of the movie. And that's just so. But the original 3, the Raimi trilogy, did a very good job of giving the characters a background, setting up the villains,
and making it still enough action scenes to keep you entertained.
When Norman Osborn became the Green Goblin, it made sense because they showed in the movie steps leading up to him becoming the Green Goblin.
Yes, in Spider-Man 2, when Dr. Octavius became Dr. Octopus or
it was part of the story. They led up to that.
When Flint Marko and Eddie Brock became Sandman and Venom, they led
up to that, yeah. So you understood why they became the villains they became and what happened to them and their motivations. You understood all that.
Yeah.
In this movie, Harry drinks some potion or gets a shot, and he throws a fit, and all of a sudden there's this suit just right there, and all of a sudden he's the Green Goblin. It makes no sense whatsoever. Makes no sense.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But Spider-Man 3 was definitely a lot more entertaining. It was a little bit more on the campy side.
Yeah, it was campy. I didn't care for the whole the dance thing and Peter Parker and the landlord and the landlord's daughter and all that stuff is just wasted. And then way too much Aunt May in all those movies, but
at least she's a careable character. You kind of care about Aunt May. Okay, number 3, The Amazing Spider-Man. Do you agree?
Yes, I do actually. Yeah.
Yeah, The Amazing Spider-Man, much better. Probably beats Spider-Man.
Still not great.
3.
But at least it had a little more logical. It made a little more logical sense. Not a good villain though. I didn't like the whole Lizard Man thing or whatever.
The Lizard, if he's portrayed in a video game, it's awesome. Because you get to go down the sewers, you get to fight off guys. But no, gotta have a movie. Probably would have worked better if it was in the Raimi trilogy. I just say we'd probably care a little bit more.
Yeah, those movies are looking a lot better to me now when I'm compared to these 2. Much better.
All right, number 2.
Number 2? I think we're both in agreement on this one as well.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yep.
I mean, it's fun. It's funny. There's enough Peter Parker slash Spider-Man to keep you interested.
Yeah, they do
Really well at it.
they do a good job of introducing the characters. They spend too much time on it. That's my problem with the whole movie. They spend too much time away
That's
on
the
those
first
characters.
movie. That's the first
But
movie.
they do a good job setting it up, and I really
I
like
mean,
Kristen Dunst as Mary Jane.
yeah, but let me just go ahead and say something straight. When he gets bitten in the Amazing Spider-Man, it's totally Peter's fault.
Yeah, that whole scene doesn't make any sense at all.
But the one in Spider-Man, the original, that makes sense. That was by accident.
Was truer to the origins in the comic book. Yeah.
That one made more sense. He didn't see it. He was too busy taking pictures of Mary Jane to notice it.
Mm-hmm.
In the Amazing Spider-Man, he just enters the room and it says, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna get."
Yeah, there's this whole subplot in the Amazing Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man 2. There's this whole subplot of this big conspiracy, of this whole Oscorp conspiracy. There's people in shadows, and there's all kind of stuff going on behind the scenes that they don't explain, and they don't. And we'll talk about that more in a second after we do our number one. But
y'all guys know what it is now.
Yeah, let's go ahead and say our number one.
That's Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
That's the best. It really doesn't have much wrong with it. It's
great Spider-Man movie. The best Spider-Man villain ever. Doc Ock is terrific as a villain.
I mean, Alfred Molina.
Yeah, just terrific job.
I felt like all the actors were more at ease in this movie than they were in probably the Spider-Man. They felt. I mean, it was a great movie. The action scenes are really nice. You have all these memorable scenes. Spider-Man 2 overall is it's funny when Jonah Jameson.
Oh yeah, J.K. Simmons does a terrific job in that role. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's now that we've finished kind of our little list. So apparently in the Amazing Spider-Man universe, those two movies, he takes pictures. The Daily Bugle, Peter Parker takes pictures, but we never see it.
Yeah, there is no Daily Bugle. I think he works for I don't know who does he work for a blog? Is that what it is? You never see what's his name? You don't.
See, that's why the Raimi trilogy is better. They actually show you everything, so that way you're not confused. And when you are confused, they answer your questions.
And of course, as you know, if you follow this stuff, Sony has entered into there's not going to be an Amazing Spider-Man 3 because Andrew Garfield doesn't want to do it, and Sony has reached, and because this movie is so disappointing, Sony and Marvel had some negotiations, and so Marvel is actually going to make the next movie, and so Spider-Man is going to be reinvented one more time, but reinvented into the whole Avenger universe kind of thing. So, which I'm looking forward to because
yeah. Okay, so now it comes down to what movie kind of series do we kind of like more? The Amazing Spider-Man or the Spider-Man?
Oh no, the Raimi trilogy is far superior, absolutely.
Yeah. You might say that the CGI might be better in the new movies.
The special effects are really, really good. The movies, I mean, they're very well made. They're very well photographed.
I mean, they're more probably interesting, but Amazing Spider-Man 2 is probably one of the more interesting movies, but too much missed potential. Literally, this movie should have been 38 minutes.
And I'll weigh in on this too because, and I'm not I don't read comic books. I don't. So I'm not as, but I know there was a big controversy about the whole during the Raimi trilogy about Spider-Man and Peter Parker having the organic web shooters, that were actually just a part of him. I liked that myself. I kind of prefer that to the ones that he makes, But it's truer to the comic books because in the comic book, Spider-Man has the metal web shooters that he has to make. So I understand it's truer to the comic books.
Yeah, but organic
but for a movie, I think I kind of like the organic web shooters.
Because it makes it more entertaining. You get to see Spider-Man web up more goons. You get to see more funny puns with Spidey. Like when he webs up Jonah Jameson's mouth.
Yeah. So.
It's just funny. They let Mom and Dad talk a lot more. Yeah. The good times. The good movies. Really. So yeah, that's kind of the talk about the Amazing Spider-Man Why is those two movies called The Amazing Spider-Man?
That's the name of the comic book.
But still,
Well, they had to. They just couldn't call it Spider-Man because that was the Raimi movie. So.
yeah. But what they should have done is called it The Disappointing Spider-Man. And The Disappointing
But
Spider-Man.
I'm looking forward to seeing Spider-Man in the Marvel universe, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him in the Avengers too.
We've got to get caught up on those. We're way behind on the.
I've never watched the Avengers.
You haven't?
No.
Yeah, you have.
No, I haven't.
You sure?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Well,
I watched the
and I'm behind. I haven't seen the. You've seen Iron Man 3. I haven't seen Iron Man 3. I haven't seen the new Thor movie. I haven't seen the new Captain America movie. So I'm way behind on the Marvel movies. So.
Because they release a little too often.
So I've got to
There's
get
always
caught
like
up
a new
on
one
them.
every month.
I've got to get caught up on them for this summer because the new Avengers movie is this summer, right? So I got to get caught up on
Spider-Man be in it?
No, not yet.
Oh.
He'll be in. I think Spider-Man's going to be in the Civil War. I think the next movie after Avengers, they're setting up a whole series of movies after the next Avengers movie. Well, there's going to be a Civil War in the superhero universe, superhero versus superhero, and I think they're going to bring in Spider-Man into that or something. So.
Yeah. So, give your opinions of the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Tell us what you thought of it. If it's your favorite. There's a lot of movies where, they're, could be on your bottom. To be at the bottom of your list, and someone might say your favorite, and you're like, I can understand, but I don't really understand why you put the Amazing Spider-Man 2 at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Really nothing good in that movie besides the jokes that only happen like.
It's a very forgettable movie.
I've already forgotten what happened in it.
Mm.
What happened? Did Gwen go to Africa? What happened in it?
No, she was going to go to England because she was going to be a Rhodes Scholar, and
wait, or was she gonna?
Oh, we forgot to mention that Dennis Leary, the actor, they keep Gwen's father, the police captain, gets killed in the first movie, and so Peter Parker keeps seeing his ghost everywhere he goes. Thinking back to his promise to never, put his daughter in danger, and so every time you see her around, he's seeing, the ghost of her father, and it's just,
he fails.
Yeah, he did.
Literally, he just let her die.
So, yep.
Like he literally tried,
Yeah.
but no, if he had organic webbing, he could have saved her. He could have shot multiple webs. You know what I'm saying? He could have shot one web this way, the other web that way. He could have probably saved her.
That wasn't the reason. It wasn't the organic versus web. It's just he just ran out of time. It's a little in the comic book. Her death was handled just a little differently, in that his web caught her, but then she the shock of her stopping snapped her neck. In this movie, it was sort of that, but he caught her like right before she hit the ground. And so she was only like a few inches above the ground, so her head still like snapped back and hit the ground. So it was sort of the same thing, a little different, but yeah.
And I do have to say that like the emotional moments in the Amazing Spider-Man are not that good. They're not that emotional. Like remember back in Spider-Man 2 when he like gave away, like when he threw his suit away? That's emotional. You have the beautiful score and. It just really does put a tear in your eye when you see him throw it out. Because you spent so much time with that suit, in the movie, series. You kind of let it.
Yeah, but he kept it in garbage cans and dumpsters around the city. That's nasty.
But you still kind of.
And you mean to tell me he didn't have but one suit? Really? Come on, really? He has to go steal the suit back? That was the only suit he had? I don't believe that. Because he gets tore up every time he fights someone. That never made sense to me either.
He might sew it back
and if he's such a genius, a mechanical genius, why didn't he invent a suit that couldn't be tore up?
That was not the reason why he threw away the suit.
No, I know that, but why is he just wearing? Why can't he just like an armor-plated suit or some kind of Why doesn't he have like a Batman suit that has like armor on it and stuff?
That would make the movie.
But
He would probably not. He would probably.
But that's a whole other movie and a whole other character.
Yeah, but he would probably not be able to do as much, athletic stuff.
Well, you've got a point there.
His legs would probably connect together.
Well, we've been talking about 35 minutes deep in the studio.
So.
Thank y'all for sticking with us.
I hope this Great Greetings was really worth the time, because I'm pretty sure a longer Great Greetings probably, kind of made up for the time. And, well, what do you like more, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie set or the Raimi trilogy?
Question of the day.
Yep. Because I'm pretty sure most people, when you got a room and you ask them, probably 5% of the people would say the 2 Amazing Spider-Man movies, and the rest would probably say the Raimi trilogy. And I think another reason why I like the Raimi trilogy a little bit more is the nostalgia. I mean, they released a little bit more when I was, I watched it when I was 5, 6, 7. So it is kind of more nostalgia. They're just better movies.
Yep.
So yeah. See you guys later.
Bye, everybody.